at 10 with that major breaking news, major developments surrounding tomorrow's spring election. Ted, this has been changing, it seems, hour by hour.
It has, Mary, and really here are the two things you need to know. This election is back on and it is no longer extended. Let's break down and give you a brief summary of what happened today, because it's been a wild day politically. It started with Governor Evers issuing an executive order pushing back the spring election from tomorrow to June 9th. That didn't last long, because this afternoon the Wisconsin Supreme Court rejected that executive order, ruling the governor simply doesn't have the authority to make that call.
A short time later, the U.S. Supreme Court issued a decision rejecting the plan to extend the deadline for absentee ballots until April 13th. Now, that means absentee ballots must be postmarked by tomorrow in order to count. If you have not received one by tomorrow, you must vote in person. Now, even so, no returns are going to be announced until April 13th. Our Bill Miston is live with the rest of this plan. Bill?
Mary, the U.S. Supreme Court's decision coming just hours after the state Supreme Court blocked Governor Tony Evers' executive order postponing in-person voting because of public health concerns surrounding the pandemic. In the days leading up to Election Day, Wisconsin Democratic Governor Tony Evers and Republican legislative leaders seemingly in lockstep in that Tuesday's election would go on, as Evers said he lacked the legal authority to change it. But after Republicans immediately gavelled down special sessions over the weekend called by Evers to address in-person voting during a pandemic, Evers issued an executive order Monday, postponing the presidential primary and spring general election until June.
The bottom line is that I have an obligation to keep people safe.
But just hours later, the state Supreme Court ruled 4-2, with the conservative justices in the majority siding with Republicans who said Evers didn't have the authority to move the election. In a statement, Assembly and Senate majority leaders applauded the court's decision, saying, "We agree with the state Supreme Court's ruling that affirms the separation of powers spelled out in our Constitution." Governor Evers saying the state Supreme Court's ruling means thousands will wake up and have to choose between exercising their right to vote and staying healthy and safe. But the day was not yet done. A little more than an hour later, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled 5-4, with the court's more conservative judges in the majority refusing to extend the deadline for absentee voting. Latest numbers show more than 11,000 people have yet to receive their absentee ballots in the state. And of the more than 1.2 million ballots sent, roughly 57% have been returned. And now, as Mary said at the top of this story, one common thing that we're all used to on election night is getting results. Well, we are going to have to wait nearly a week. Election results won't be announced until April 13th. Now, clerks can process ballots, but they cannot release tallies of winners or losers or start the canvassing process until next Monday. Mary?
All right. Thank you, Bill.